This may be controversial, but I don't believe that discipline is something that some people are born with and some people are not born with. Discipline is a trait that is taught and learned over time, and you are in full control of it. I've gone through so many phases where I'm feeling lazy, unmotivated, and I just don't want to do the work. And when you go through those seasons of life, know that it's okay, but also know that you're going to come out of it and you have the capability to do so. What I've really realized over the years is that discipline is not about being a superhuman who wakes up at 5 a.m. every single morning and does all of the things and is loving life and is accomplished and energized, and no. Just know that is not realistic, and that is not what discipline is going to look like for every single person. Let me tell you, I will never be a part of the 5 a.m. club. But what I've learned is discipline is about creating little systems that make it easier to follow through with whatever you're trying to achieve, even when you don't feel like it. So if you consider yourself lazy, don't worry, girl, I got you. Today, I'm going to teach you exactly how to get disciplined, especially if you don't think you are that girl. Stop relying on motivation. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that I made that completely changed the game for me. So most people wait until they actually get that spark of motivation to take action. But if that never comes, you will never take action. Like, think about it. Motivation is fleeting. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. It's super powerful when it is there, but completely unreliable. Discipline is what actually kicks in when motivation is nowhere to be found. You do not have to actually feel like doing something in order to do it. And that is a little reminder that you can tell yourself all of the time when you're on the couch feeling lazy and don't want to get up to do that workout. You do not have to feel like it to do it. Another mindset shift that you can also change is I get to do this thing versus I have to do it. If you are healthy and if you are able to move your body, and again, I'm just using working out as an example, but there are a slew of actions and habits that require discipline. But if you're healthy enough to move your body, take advantage of that. Because let me tell you, if one day that luxury gets taken away from you, God forbid, something happens to you and you're unable to move your body, you will then at that moment understand how privileged you were to be able to do these things to begin with. So take advantage of it and come from that mindset, and it will motivate you to show up in such a positive way. The best part of all of this is when you stop arguing with yourself whether or not you should do something and you actually just do it, you strengthen that follow-through muscle. Motivation comes from once you start, so do not wait around for a feeling. It's not just going to magically fall into your lap. You need to put in the work, put in the action in order for it to start reoccurring naturally. Take one small step and let the action create momentum. If you've ever said, I will start on Monday, and then you completely ghosted all of your goals by Tuesday, this next part is for you. You need to lower your barrier of entry. Most people want to change, they want to start new habits, and they set the bar way too high for themselves. So for example, we want to start working out every single day for 1 hour. We want to get 10,000 steps in a day. We want to get those 8 hours of sleep, 3 liters of water, add in all of these new supplements. And you can see how doing all of this and starting all of these goals in one day, it's not realistic. It's completely overwhelming. And what happens, majority of people get burnt out by literally day 2 or day 3. The key here is making your starting point laughably low. So on day 1, the goal is just to get up and to go for a walk for 20 minutes. That's it. Day 1, easy, check it off. You know what that does? It's a cause and effect. It makes you so motivated to show up for day 2. I got that 20 minutes down pat. Let's now add in something else. Let's habit stack here. So we got the 20 minutes of steps, but maybe let's add in a little mini meditation before or after. Then on day 3, that felt so amazing. The meditation, the steps. I want to try a workout. Of course, they put on a shape workout. They feel amazing, they feel strong, they feel accomplished, and that night they go to bed early because they know that getting 8 hours of sleep is going to make them feel like a superhuman the next day. They get that 8 hours of sleep for the first time in weeks and months and years, and they're like, wow, I'm moving, I am walking, I am doing mindfulness, and now I'm sleeping. And on day 5, this is a lifestyle that I want to continue and carry on, and you get addicted to that feeling, but only if you take it in small steps, right? Let's do a little bit at a time, especially if we're starting fresh, and I promise your body is going to continue to crave more and more. That is more of a realistic approach. It's not about intensity, it is about consistency. Start with tiny wins that build confidence, because confidence builds momentum and momentum builds discipline. Trying to force a new habit into your life from scratch is exhausting, and it can also be very daunting. You forget, you start to resist it, and then eventually you just let it go and it never becomes a part of your routine. That is why habit stacking is such an effective strategy. So essentially, I know I just mentioned it, but you are adding a new habit to an action that is already part of your daily routine. So hear me out. For example, every single morning when we are making our collagen coffee, and of course having our coffee after breakfast, we can add in 2 minutes of journaling while our coffee is brewing. We can do 15 squats, we can have a glass of water, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to add to your routine to feel your very best, you can do it during the time where you're already doing something else anyway. I gave the example earlier. This is one of my favorite things, and I always tell people, if you're not a meditation person, try meditating while you're walking. You're already doing something else. Throw on a meditation, and maybe that is how you start a new mindfulness practice. There's so many examples and so many ways that you can introduce a new habit to something that is already existing, and it all just depends on what action that you want to start incorporating into your life. The point is, you do not need to remember that new habit. It just becomes something that you already do on autopilot. And this is exactly how you start to very slowly rewire your routine so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. And over time, those little actions add up to long-lasting discipline. Let's be honest, we are all way too good at breaking promises with ourselves, but if someone else is counting on us, different story. That is why accountability is so important. So tell a friend your goal, make a plan, book a class, put it online on social media, like put it out for the world to see, because that will trigger something in your brain to actually show up and do it. There have been so many times, even from a business standpoint, where I've wanted to do something and it hasn't really come into fruition yet, but I know that I want to do it, and I'll share with my audience. I'll put it on my Instagram stories. I'm going to do this. This is the plan. We are all going to collectively do this as a community. And then it forces me to put in the action to start actually showing up. And that goes for everything that we want to do. So if we want to lose 10 pounds, for example, we are going to sign up for a challenge that is going to keep us accountable. The Shape app, we have monthly challenges. We also have a WhatsApp group where, as a community, we all motivate one another to show up day in and day out. We are encouraging each other. We are posting our workouts, our meals, showing off our completed calendar that we did all of our workouts for the week, and that is motivation in itself. The more external accountability that you have, the less room that your brain has to wiggle its way out of whatever you want to show up for. Bonus tip, if you cannot find accountability through other people, create systems for yourself. So maybe it's a phone lockout or setting alarms or creating visual trackers, whatever it needs to be to hold you to your own word. Reward the identity, not just the action. This is what truly locked in discipline for me. It is not just about checking off a box. It is about becoming the person who will show up for themselves. Every time I followed through on something, even if it was small, like getting in my workout for that day, I would say to myself, look at you. You are that girl who shows up for herself. When she commits to something, she does it. And giving yourself that sense of accomplishment, no matter how big or how small, you crave that feeling of wanting to keep showing up more and more. The best thing that you can do is give yourself credit, not for the actual outcome, but for the follow through. So it's not about, losing that 10 pounds or having that perfect to-do list checked off at the end of the week or the perfect body. It is about the little actions that it took to get there. The goal really is to build the identity of that person who is disciplined, of that girl who just gets it. I think for a lot of people who know me or are just in my space, discipline is probably one of the first words that they would think of when they thought of me, because they know that I will show up no matter what, whether it's for them or whether it's for myself. They see how hard that I work. They see that I put in the action every single day to be a better, stronger version of myself. And that is the goal, not just for me, but for everyone. Like, you should be that type of person. That is the elite. And it doesn't matter your social standing. It doesn't matter how much money you have or what you look like. All the external factors don't matter. Anyone can create discipline, and discipline puts all of us on an even playing field. When you stop tying your worth to the results and start reinforcing the identity, that is when you want to keep going. That is when the magic happens. That's where you want to be. It becomes who you actually are, not just something that you want to do and want to become. And when discipline is part of your reality, part of who you are, it just begins to flow, it begins to happen naturally, and you do not need to force it anymore. So at the end of this, if you are still sitting there thinking, I'm lazy, I'm just not going to be disciplined, I want you to know that those thoughts do not define you. You can become disciplined. And again, no, it's not about overhauling your life overnight. Discipline comes by shifting the way that you show up, starting small, and beginning to trust yourself. So I want to hear from you, my favorite girl. Let me know below, what are your tips and tricks when it comes to discipline? Let me know if this resonated with you, and thank you again, as always, for being here. Make sure to check out my latest video, How I Stayed Lean for 30 Days in Europe, here.